So this weekend we're doing Jozi Walks, which is a program that we do with the Johannesburg Development Agency. They gave grants all over the city to walk people through our neighborhoods and talk about what makes these neighborhoods work. So what we do with this walk is both to introduce people to the city and the different things going on in the CBD, but what we really want is to talk to people. They go from grade R to grade 12. You want to think about how do we take all of these things that we're already doing, all of these things that are already happening in the city, bring them together in a way where they complement each other, and then make them work even better than they are now. So we're starting off at Bridge Books, which is my bookstore. We opened 3 years ago, and we focus on African writing. We also do a lot of work with booksellers working on the streets and in the buildings around this neighborhood and even farther afield. What's interesting here is because we're doing a lot of local books, we really have a very well-curated and targeted collection and very specific readership who comes through here. After we leave here, we go across the street and we visit the site of the original CNA, which used to be just like a tin shed. It was like a corrugated metal shack that they had set up there before the building that exists there now was put up. Then we walk just one block over, we pass some Christian bookshops, and then we go into the Rand Club, where in the basement we see James Finley Collectibles. He does a huge business with really antique and valuable books. He has a huge collection of political posters going back through all the revolutionary movements throughout the region, not just in South Africa. We talk with him also about old prints and different things that he keeps down there and how the Rand Club is being revitalized.
I don't think that our story as South Africa is clear. It's not, I don't think that we have books that are capturing all of this. And I think seeing these posters, like it literally shows you where we started to where we are. I mean, there's stuff here from the 1980s that's already talking about corruption. And these are some of the things that we are dealing with today. And I think Griffin is right. Where are these books? Where's our story?
Then we go across into Library Gardens, where we visit the city library, but we also talk about how to use the library in different ways. The library does not have nearly enough staff to go through all of those books. The warehouse is full of books. So what they do right now is they have a sale at the end of the year where they sell a lot of the books. What I want people to think about when they're there is a vision for the future. How do we use that park space that is Library Gardens to build new street libraries so that books are more open and available to the public? How do we make it more fun for families to be able to spend time there? How do we really make it a space where people want to be? When we leave there, we walk to Ernest Oppenheimer Park for storytelling. So we have great storytellers who come in, and they're doing both modern stories, but also traditional stories that are given a more modern telling.
Hi, my name is Jozi and I am the storyteller. I tell stories. I'm also a children's book author. I tell stories here, and what I want people to take home is the beauty and the importance of telling stories. We tell stories to keep alive. We tell stories for our stories to remain after us, and that is the only way to longevity, if I could say that.
So I think the interesting thing that came out for me today is that one, we haven't told the Joburg story, and that means we can't tell the South African story or the African story because of that. But secondly, I didn't know that so many people live in the CBD. So I have a lot of neighbors that I need to catch up with.
And then we go into the Joburg Street Market, where we have a lot of booksellers. We just visit one or two of them. There's actually about 50 going between there and Park Station. We just don't have time to see them all because there's so many. So we visit people who are selling books in lots of different ways, talking about how we can support them by upgrading the facilities inside the market to make it feel like it's a more welcoming space and less of a kind of slapped together space. What we really want is to think about how we can transform this part of the city. How do we take together all the initiatives that are already working and teach people what we're doing, both so that we can recruit volunteers and people who can help us in different ways, but to group things together to say that, we can't expect the city government to do everything. There's a lot to be done. There's a lot of people already doing really cool work. So let's think about how we can group those people together and use books as a starting point to really make the neighborhood more dynamic and more interesting than it already is.
I'm Charlotte and I'm a Joburg local. Last year I did Jozi Walks as well, but I did it at the Spaza Art Gallery. I'm really excited to have come this year. It's beautiful. I love the space that Bridge Books has moved to, and I just love Griffin's enthusiasm for